America. Thank you so much. Third season in the CAA for the Phoenix of Elon University. Their head basketball coach, Matt Matheny, is with us, along with one of the senior leaders, Luke Eddy. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us. And Matt, let me start with you and talk about what you have seen now coming into your third season on what it takes to be a successful team in this conference.
This is a great league. It's a great league, and we've said it consistently that there's no night in the CAA where you don't play well that you can expect to win. And I think the reason it's a good league is because there's really good coaches, and that matters. But there's great players. Yeah. And it's not like one or two great players on each team. Each team has 6, 7, 8 players. And any night, a guy coming off the bench could get 15, 20 points against you. So there's a lot of great players in the league, some very good coaching, and every night you got to play well if you expect to win.
Well, it's a perfect segue to the point I was going to bring up next. You return 6 players that had at least 8 or more points per game last year. That versatility, I would imagine, has got to be very, very good for your program.
We've had a great offseason. We got a lot of guys back, and as a result of having a lot of guys back, we've been able to go fast forward and practice. I said we had a great offseason. Our guys are better players. Even though they're the same players, we have better players this year than we did last year, and that's enjoyable as a coach. The team, though, has to be built, and we're doing that now in our October practices. We've got a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of excitement around our program.
One of those players is Luke Eddy, one of the seniors. How have you seen your team and your teammates evolve, particularly over these last couple of years in the CAA?
Yes, so the first year I was actually out due to an injury, so I got to watch. The next year I got to play. It's a very tough league. I think we've had some growing pains, but that's going to come. And we have a lot of young guys. We're getting better, and I'm excited for our chance to compete this year.
To have that much versatility, are these practices really great challenges for you guys, knowing you're going up against another really good player?
Yeah, as you mentioned before, we have 6 players that average 8 points per game, I think you said. Yeah. So a good player's guarding you, or you're guarding a good player every day, which is something that makes us better.
Matt, talk about some of these other players. I know Tyler Sebring was a CAA rookie team member last year, but there's a lot of depth. Talked about some of the other guys that are really going to be heavily leaned on this year for the Phoenix.
Well, in our program, we lean heavily on senior leadership. So lucky for me, we have Christian Harrison here today along with Luke Eddy. We also have 2 walk-ons that are awesome, Patrick Ryan and Ryder Bowling. Great senior leadership. And we relied heavily on first-year players to get a lot of minutes for us last year. So our sophomore class, we expect to play a lot. And that's Tyler Sebring, as you mentioned. Dane and Swoop played a lot as a freshman last year. And Steven Santa Ana played a lot of good minutes. I'll mention the whole sophomore class. Carolus Kudratis got a few minutes late in the year. Sheldon Eberhardt's another member of the sophomore class. So there's 5 sophomores we expect a lot of. And great senior leadership, which we will rely on. We always do. And our junior class will have to lead us as well. So we've got a great mix of young guys that we need our seniors and our veteran guys to pull through the wars.
As a coach, I know you reward guys who are playing well and maybe more importantly practicing well, but you just mentioned a lot of guys with tremendous versatility. Is it tough to give everybody the minutes that they may deserve, or at least may think they deserve?
Well, I think that's one of the challenges this year. Who's going to get the minutes? And we as a coach decide that in some ways, but really players decide that. Players decide that with the way they play in games, but they decide it with the way they practice. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned competition in practice. Our practices have been very competitive. And what we have to do now is continue to be competitive in practice, be more consistent with our competitiveness, and then we have to translate that into how we play.
Any particular newcomers that we may also want to kind of keep an eye on?
We got one first-year player, Seth Fuller, who's doing a great job. He's an Elon man. He fits what we're looking for. He's tough as nails. He's in the competition as well in practice.
Earlier here at Media Day, we will hear later on from the CAA Commissioner Joe D'Antonio, welcoming the student athletes and making a legitimate point about how grade point averages and the academic rankings for the CAA, both the men's and the women's side, are among the best in the country. This man's a 2-time All-CAA Academic Award and team winner as well. How important is that for you?
The classroom is very important to me. I love the game of basketball, but unfortunately I will not be able to play it for the rest of my life. So the classroom is a big part of that. My friend here, Christian, who's also with us, is two-time member as me as well. Have a lot of the same classes together. We've had a couple long nights studying over our years together, so it is what it is. And then I also have to say that our academic advisor, Casey Crenshaw, was very, very good at her job.
What are you looking to do once you graduate?
Well, hopefully, right after I graduate, I kind of going back on what I said, I'm going to continue to play basketball.
Good.
But then after that, go into the job force and find something that provides purpose to people.
Matt, it does seem like something we sometimes only pay lip service to, but I would imagine as a coach, not only when you see what Luke and Christian have done, other of your players, but when you hear what this entire conference has done, it's something that is much more important than people ever think about, isn't it?
It really is. We were fortunate this past weekend. We had almost 60 Elon basketball alums that came back to campus. And to see the doctors that came back and the lawyers that came back and the successful professionals that had the chance to wear Elon across their chests just to come back and spend a weekend with us was pretty special for our program. And I got to tell you, we have a tremendous community at Elon. And we want to attract young men that will make the families in our community proud, and fortunately we've been able to do that.
You've always told everybody, come down to that school, you'll be hooked, right?
Oh, man, just take one foot on campus and we got you.
Good. Luke, congratulations on what has been so far a very successful career at Elon. Best of luck this season. Matt, thank you very much. Best of luck for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we've got the men's perspective at Elon. Let's get